bonjour and welcome back. It has been a while, nearly a month, but we are finally back with the GP4 OC Round 8 of the season, the French Grand Prix, the first Grand Prix here in France since 2008, the first time the top class will race at the current circuit Paul Ricard, of course, the last 3 French GPs being held at Manicourt, and the circuit the scene of the fastest accident in F1 car, and the circuit also has a possibility of 167 layouts, which is ridiculous. The previous 3 winners here in France have included Kellen Bryce 2006, Joseph Willis 2007, and of course Will Neller in 2008. Of course, one of those 3 still races in the OC at the moment, so could Willows win the race here at Paul Ricard? Will Neller, of course, could still win it in DTM. Of course, this is the first time that the OC top class has been at Paul Ricard. DTM has been here before, but of course the OC has not, the top class, that is F1. So it's going to be interesting to see who is going to win, what is going to happen. There's going to be a number of overtaking spots, turn 1 being one of them, the fast chicane at the end of the back straight. The tyres we're using, of course, for this race will be the soft tyres. And the driver today from the last time out in Canada is Paolino Tomaselli, who finished a very impressive 5th place, just behind the Haas of Roque. So anyway, here is the grid for the French Grand Prix, and on the front row of the grid, in first position, it is the red car on pole position, with Joel Hutter alongside him in second by just a 10th of a second. It was close in qualifying. On the second row, it's the 2 Mercedes of Franco Lopez and Florian Volker. On row 3 of the grid, we have Joseph Willows for Ferrari and Nicolas Gal for Red Bull, 5th and 6th. Row 4, 7th and 8th is the 2 McLarens of Roberto Gamma and Kirosima De Rosa, or De Rosa, however you would like to say it. Row 5 of the grid, we have the 2 Haas drivers of Franco Gamba and George Roque, a good qualifying by both Haas drivers there. On the 6th row of the grid, we have Enis Barachki for Toro Rosso and Tiravinao Turin for Force India Mercedes, aka the Pink Mercedes. Row 7, Felix Sontag for Williams and Laura Chung for Toro Rosso. On row 8 of the grid, we have Jay McKenzie for Renault and Paolino Tomaselli 16th for Sauber Driver of the Day last time out, and also not a very good qualifying by Renault either. 17th position is the other Renault of Evan Byrne and Roland Moitian 18th, and both Force India and Renault really struggling here at Paul Ricard. On row 10 of the grid, we have Gabriel Gomez for Sauber and Lean Campana for Williams, and on the final row of the grid, of course, we have the 2 Manos Vettin Jones and Maxime Tidkov. So that's the grid for the return of the French Grand Prix around this very blue and red circle. You can see in the background all the various lines really make this track stand out. It's obviously you can forget where you're going. But anyway, the race, of course, it will be a dry race, no chance of rain here at Paul Ricard. It's a very sunny day. So let's get on with the return of the French Grand Prix, shall we? As we now have the 5 lights about to come on here at Paul Ricard. It's a long hold and we're underway, and Carr makes a pretty good start. Hutter has not made a good start at all. He's been mugged by Lopez. He might be mugged by both Mercedes at this rate, and unfortunately I don't think Hutter, has he lost a position? No, he might actually get second back. Hold on, unless Lopez can get the run around the outside, which I think he can. Yes, he can. And so Lopez takes second place. Unfortunately for Volker, who had made a good start as well, he's dropped behind both Red Bulls, so they come through turns 3 and 4. Now coming into this tight hairpin now through turn 5, now into turn 6, coming through on towards the back straight. Now this is where there's going to be a number of overtakes on this circuit, one of the best places to overtake. Just imagine if they didn't have that chicane, it would be a very long drag, but here we go. So Carr and Lopez already getting away. Here's the battle between the 2 Red Bulls. Gal making a move on the inside of Hutter as they come towards the chicane, side by side between the 2, and oh, there's contact, and they're out, and unbelievably Red Bull have taken both cars out on the first lap. What a disastrous start for both drivers, and particularly for Gal, who's definitely more under pressure than Hutter, and they are both out. What a dramatic start to the French Grand Prix. So that leaves a clear run for Carr and Lopez up front, and also, well, for both Mercedes and the Ferraris really. But oh dear me, that is not going to go well. Let's have a look at the replay. It's not going to go well for Christian Horner, I should say. This is the replay. So we're on board with Gal, who was in the slipstream of Hutter. Look at the speed they're getting, and Hutter tried to block, and Gal was well on the inside. He was not going to back out, and it was just pretty inevitable that was going to happen, wasn't it, really? Pretty inevitable. I don't know if you can really blame... Well, I suppose I'd say they're both at fault, really. And I think I just saw Paolino Tomaselli's moved up quite a few places as well. I don't really think you can blame... I think, well, I don't know if I'd say racing against. I mean, Gal's on the inside. I suppose you could say Hutter could have backed off. But I mean, for goodness sake, it's the first lap. Why do they need to make a move like that on the first lap? It's really... They've really screwed themselves over, have Red Bull. And, well, they've got no one to blame but themselves, really, so they are going to be fuming with both Gal and Hutter for that. So here we are looking on board with Paolino Tomaselli, who had started in 16th, got a great start of the line, already up to 15th. He's in passing Chung and going past the Williams and the Force India, heading up to the first corner, sneaking up the inside of Rogue there in the Haas. Already up to 11th by the first corner, so already 5 places made up. Now behind Enis Brachki in the Toro Rosso. Is he going to make a move here? He's stuck behind both, can't quite make a move here. Surely he's not going to make a move through here. Nope, no room there. So Brachki goes around the outside of the McLaren as well, so that was a good start by Tomaselli. Here we are looking again at the replay of the 2 Red Bulls. I mean, as I said, it was just inevitable that was going to happen. So anyway, here is the battle for the lead. So Lopez has already caught up to Carr in the lead, and Carr leads on the first lap. The finish line always further ahead than I think it is, but Lopez sets the fastest lap. He's already on the inside, and he takes the lead of the race. Lopez up ahead of Carr, and he takes the lead. And here's the battle for third, and look at that, Franco Gamma goes past Florian Volker for third position. Wow, and it must be, Volker must have heavy fuel, because the Haas is not normally faster than the Mercedes. But Franco Gamma, looking at his fuel, he's got a bit of fuel in it. It's fairly light, but not extremely light, so I think that's a genuine pace from Franco Gamma. And yes, Volker has got a lot of fuel in his car. Now here is Tomaselli up to 8th position, it might even be 7th. So 9 places made in just 2 laps for Tomaselli. Sontag's actually made a good start as well. Willow's in 5th position. He's got a lot of fuel in his car as well. I wonder if he'll be doing the 1 or the 2 stop, but at this moment in time, it's an unusual top 3. As you look at Parechki, and there's De Rosa just complete the points, but now Chung is making her way up the order. She's made a good start as well. She started down in, she started further down the order, so she's going to move up a few positions. Now going to move into the points, up into 10th. Oh, hold on. And there was the yellow flag was still there for the Red Bulls. Did Chung make the move under yellow flags is the big question. And as we're looking on board with her, where is the yellow flag? You can see the zone's right at the chicane. And did she make it before the yellow flags are shown? And you can see there's Chung, she's in 11th at the moment, and now it's 10th. And yes, I think she may have gotten away with that one. So I think Chung will get away without a penalty there. So she moves up into the points. Now she's already on the back of Felix Sontag in the Williams, and she's surely going to make a move into the chicane unless we have a repeat of what happened on the first lap. 340 k's an hour, that's about 215 miles an hour. But Sontag defends and doesn't let Chung through. That will allow De Rosa to possibly make a move as well, if she's not careful. And De Rosa has the Haas of Roke behind her as well, who unfortunately has not actually made a great start compared to his teammate Gamma, who's in P3 at the moment. Now here is Byrne being overtaken by Gabriel Gomez for 14th position. You don't see too many moves coming into there, but it's a very fast corner. It can be done, but a lot of cars or drivers generally to back out at that corner, but fortunately Gomez had the balls and made it through. So he's up into 14th. Byrne has a lot of fuel as well. Now here is Roberto Gamma being overtaken, possibly. Is it by... Oh, he's gone wide, and yep, Tomaselli is through. Up into 6th position. Oh no, and Roberto Gamma has just rejoined and taken out Enis Parachki in the Toro Rosso. Oh dear, and I don't think Gamma is going to get away with that without any punishment. I would think he's going to get a punishment for that, because that was a ridiculous rejoin. And the incident between the two drivers are under investigation. You can see it was just never on, really. And Parachki unfortunately came around the corner and was just an innocent bystander. Nothing he could do, just wrong place at the wrong time. That means Sontag and the Williams actually now up into 7th position. Good start so far for him. Now here's Tomaselli, who's on the back of Florian Volker. So Volker obviously with heavy fuel. Tomaselli, whose car is generally quite lighter, as he makes a little error there. Goes wide, but fortunately keeps it on the circuit. That could have been very, very sketchy, but fortunately no harm done. And he's already on the back. So far the lighter cars, the Italians so far in this race, are doing a great job. Tomaselli, as you can see coming around there, just makes a little error, but fortunately keeps the position. Now here is Volker, who was running in 4th, and I didn't actually realise, I think Volker got overtaken by Willows. So he went wide. This was coming on to the back straight, coming out of turn 6. And he just goes wide and then gets a very bad run off the corner, and that allows Willows to have a great run onto the back straight, and he takes 4th position. I didn't actually realise that at the time. So that is a move made by Willows on Volker, so good stuff there by the Brit. But Volker could be under pressure from Tomaselli. He's surely going to make another move. Now we're on to the front straight. I don't know if Tomaselli is quite close enough, is he? I think he might be actually. No, I think he is in the slipstream. So here we go. Tomaselli going to make a move into the first corner. Is he going to do it? He's going to squeeze to the inside. Round the first goal, there's contact. Tomaselli goes up in the air. No damage, but well, the damage has been done because they both spun. And they're going to drop down to the back of the field. Oh dear. We know turn 1 is a certain hotspot for overtaking, but also, if you've watched DTM before, a lot of incidents, and there is one that's happened there. So Tomaselli has, well, the good news, Tomaselli has completed the move. The bad news, he's down to 17th, and not 7th. But let's have a look on board again. So Tomaselli tried it on the inside of Volker, clearly the quicker car, and it's just you can just see that was going to happen as well. You could say maybe Volker could have given him a bit more room, but yeah. I suppose it is what it is, really. You can see Tomaselli just hoping none of the cars that are going by run into him. Unfortunately, they don't. Now, here is Laura Chong. Of course, let's not forget, Sontag now up to 5th, but might not be for long if Laura Chong could get through. She's on the inside, and is she through? Yes, she's up into P5. What a start by Laura Chong, up several places, and Sontag still, moment in 6th, having a great start himself. Now, here is Gabriel Gomez in 10th position, right behind. This is now Tiranen in the Force India. He's going to try and make a move on the inside, coming towards the chicane. And surely he's going to make this move stick, is he? Yep. He's up into 9th position, the Brazilian, past the tie. And now, what the bad news is for now, Trinidad's got his teammate behind him as well, in Roland Moitian. So, at the moment, looking at the order, got De Rossa in 7th, there's Roque in 8th, Gomez obviously just up to 9th. But at the moment, Franco Lopez leading comfortably ahead of Carr in 2nd. And in 3rd place is Franco Gamba. You can see the gap, so Lopez, who's got light fuel, but at the moment, look at the gap he's got to cut. Look at how much he's got ahead of him. That is some pace there from the Argentinian, looking to make up some ground. Of course, he won the first 2 races of the season, completely dominated both, and then unfortunately just hasn't had it quite the same since. But could this be about to change today is going to be the big question. So he now comes on to the back straight. Now here is Carr in 2nd position, nearly 10 seconds behind. Franco Gamba himself is about 5 seconds behind. Here's Moitian. Oh no! Oh, and he's tipped. Now Turner, he's on his side, and oh dear. Now Turner now gets back up. Well, no, he doesn't. He's out. But oh dear me, the 2 Force Indians have collided, and now Turner has been taken out by his teammate Moitian there. So he got lifted onto his side, and unfortunately the landing was enough to break the car. And in the words of the famous song, "You're Breaking Me," he has broken. Now Turner has Moitian, so oh dear. So I think we're going to see a replay of that. As you can just see that was going to happen as well. But now Moitian was trying to make a move up into that final points position of 10th, and he's made it, but at the expense of knocking his teammate out. And you can see it's just you could just see it happening as well. It's a weird corner, turn 1, and he just knocks him onto the side. And yeah, just carries on like nothing's happened. So on board with now Turin here, coming to the first corner, and there's the contact right on the side there, and you can see on the side, and then 3, 2, 1, there it goes. Oh, here's another view of him, of course, flipping, unfortunately, to his retirement. Crash landing. So he is out of this race, and oof, just that is quite an unfortunate incident there. So yeah, what can you say? Unfortunately, Bernardo has just not had much luck, and his luck doesn't get much better when you get taken out by your teammate. Now here is Laura Chong on an absolute mission right now. She is in P5, looking to get past Willers for P4, and Willers defends into turn 1, doesn't let her through, but of course, had Chong overtaken there, she would have got a penalty, so it's a good thing that she did not overtake there, but she might do it here, coming through into turn 3, and is she going to do it? She's on the inside, and yes, she does! What a move! Great move by Chong. She moves past Willers up into P4. And wow, Gamma having a great race, Chung having a great race as well. This could be a very interesting finish to the Grand Prix, but of course they're on different strategies. But probably, I don't think the one stop's really the favourite one. 2 stop, maybe 3, but Chung I think is probably going to go for the 3 stop as she is in the pits right now. So the question is, where is she going to come out onto the circuit? She's dropped down to 7th. I think she'll be outside the top 10 for sure. And she changes all 4 tyres. Fuel-wise, it's very light, so yep, that is definitely 3 stop for her, for sure. So, out of the pit she comes, down all the way in P14, so she is well outside of the points, but of course a lot of these drivers will be pitting probably in the next 5 or so laps, I would say, if they're on the 2. Franco Lopez out front, he'll probably be on the 2, I'd think. But Chung comes out in P17. Now Sontag, who himself has had a great start as well, taking advantage of all the chaos that's happened. As you can see, Roberto Gamma has got a 10th place grid penalty for causing the incident with Parachki, so that's not really a surprise. As we look at Sontag coming in, who himself has also had a great start, taking advantage of all the chaos that's happened around him. And so he changes all 4 tyres on his car, and let's see where he comes out the circuit. We had to wait a bit actually for that manner of Titkoff to go by him, so that will not help Sontag particularly. So he'll still be behind Chung, but by a longer way. She's already gone past, and the pit exit here is very, very long. Of course, we're using the old pit exit. Of course, the current Formula 1 use the longer one for the pit entry. But anyway, we're looking now. This is the Force India on the back of Gomez. I believe this is Roland Moitian who is on the back of Gomez. This is for 7th position. Campana currently in 10th at the moment, as Tomaselli has come in for his first stop of the race. Of course, he'll be frustrated with that incident with Volker, as he could have been on for a good points finish. Well, there's still plenty of the race to go, but it definitely could have been a better one. Now, Franco Lopez is coming into the pits. I wonder if this is going to be a 2-stop or not, as Gomez is around, and Gabriel Gomez has spun. And what has happened to the Brazilian? Has he been hit, or is it on his own? And no, it looks like it's on his own. He's made a mistake, got on the curb, spun right in front of Moitian, and he says, "Thank you very much." Or however you say goodbye or thank you very much in Hungarian. So he just goes over the curb and then spins around there. He's lucky he could have possibly flipped. Fortunately didn't, and thank God Moitian wasn't any closer, because then it could have been a collision there. But Gomez unfortunately spins and loses out on the work he's done so far, as Moitian just watches Gomez lose control of his car as Titkoff comes out side by side with Tomaselli. And so Tomaselli doesn't quite get ahead of Titkoff, but I imagine he'll overtake him on the circuit anyway. Now here comes Lopez in for his first stop. Will he do the 3 or will he do the 2? $1 million question, and I think maybe the 2. I don't think many of them are attempting the 3, but we'll see. But so far Lopez has dominated this race at this moment in time. Of course, I forget around this track the finish line is way ahead of where the actual starting gantry is, so it confuses me really. But Lopez drops down into 3rd, so drops down behind his fellow Franco Gamba into 3rd position. But I'd like to see how quick it will be until Lopez gets by. Demoitian in 7th place at the moment, looking like he's closing on Roque in front of him. Volker down in 12th. And he's under pressure from Laura Chong, who is on fresher tyres and will be trying to pass Volker as well. So Volker so far in a really pretty precarious position at this moment in time. And so there we go, as we're looking at Chung on the front straight behind Volker in the slipstream. Will she try and make a move into the first corner? Volker defends, and no damage done there, but Volker was not letting Chung go by very easily, which, I mean, technically he should. And Chung trying to squeeze through there, didn't quite work, and so there we go. But Chung's surely going to get through on the back straight, of course, for the chicane, because Volker's just not going to be able to hold on for much longer. But and Lopez has got by already. Look at that. On the straight before the chicane, Lopez goes by very quickly indeed. So Lopez was wasting no time, whereas the two Francos may be working together. But Gamma knows he's not in a battle for the win. So here we are looking. This is Chung trying to get past Volker once again on the back straight, side by side between the two. Chung's on the inside. Surely she's got to get it done, and she does. She's up into 12th, and now she's on the back of the Renault of Jay McKenzie. And she's already in the slipstream of McKenzie. Look at that. Will she try and make a move on McKenzie? And the answer is yes, she is on the inside of McKenzie. And she's made it stick. Wow. Look at that. Or has she? Hold on. Still side by side. McKenzie trying to get it back around the outside. And Chung finally gets it done. That is a pretty impressive move, I have to say, by Laura Chung. She is taking no prisoners today. She's performing very well. So here we are looking at from where it started. This was Chung on the inside of Volker coming towards the chicane. And it was obvious she was going to make the move. Volker just couldn't hold on much longer, so Volker just gave up the chase. And now Chung already, look at that, catching onto the back of McKenzie and just in the slipstream straight away. And McKenzie, I suppose, did try and put up a fight, but way too late. But Chung just made a move on the inside, just saw the gap, went for it, and thought she made a stick originally. She was up to 11th, but then of course Mackenzie tried to come back round the outside, but Chung on the fresher tyres had the grip and the right line, and she was through. So she's now up into 11th position. So Volker stuck behind Volker. As here we are looking at Tomaselli, who's trying to pass Titkoff, and held up for a few laps behind him. But finally Tomaselli's on the inside, coming into the chicane, and that is the move done for the Italian. So there we go. That is up into 16th position, but it should be 6th for Tomaselli had he not had, of course, the incident with the Mercedes of Volker. But now here we are looking at Franco Lopez, who's already caught up to the back of Carr, and is going to overtake him for the lead. Lopez on the inside, and this is going to be pretty much just no competition here. Lopez on the inside, and Bob's your uncle. Look at that. Very easily done, and Carr is not pitting for another few laps as well, so Lopez has got a pit stop advantage already over Carr. So he's really going to have to pull it out of the bag if he wants to win this race. I think I saw Franco Gamba is pitting this lap as well. I'd imagine he'd be on the 2-stop. I think 3 would be a bit stupid to do now. So here is Chung on the back of the American Lean Campana as we come through the final corner, and Chung is surely going to make the move coming into turn 1. So he gets the line in the slipstream of the American, and she moves along the inside of Lean Campana, and this is going to be a very easily move done. Is it? Oh, maybe not. No, actually. Campana doesn't holds on. So now Chung is going to have to try it again, but of course the next overtaking spot, of course, it will be the back straight. And I'm quite glad we do have that chicane, because otherwise, as we look at Sontag just squeezing by on the inside of Gabriel Gomez in the Sauber, and he makes it through up into 14th. But I think I just have to say thank God for that chicane on the back straight, because unfortunately I don't think we'd see as many overtakes really if it wasn't for that chicane. I know people like to criticise it, but it's there for a reason. And now here is Chung once again on the inside of Campana, heading towards the chicane. And this should be an easy move, is it? No, still not. I'm very surprised about that is for sure. And now here we are looking at Chung once again. Is she going to try the move she did on Mackenzie a few laps ago? And the answer is no, because she's not quite close enough. But the next opportunity for her will be, of course, into turn 1. That's the next overtaking spot. As Franco Gamba is, of course, now in the pits for Haas. And so into the pits he comes, changes all 4 tyres. This will be a 2-stop, and yes, it will be. So there we go. Changes all 4 tyres, and good amount of fuel. It will be quite a long stint for Gamba, but so far he doesn't really need to worry, because he's definitely in contention for a podium right now. So he just needs to avoid trouble, and everything should be okay. So he comes out in 5th place. He'll come out just ahead of his teammate Roke, actually. Come up behind, so that is good for Gamba and for Roke. So Roke won't have to worry about holding him up. And now here's Chung on the inside of Campana once again into the first corner, and finally she does get the move done. A little bit longer than she wanted, but she gets it done. So there we go, up into 9th position. So Gamba coming out in 5th behind the McLaren of De Rosa, and so Moichin himself is actually closing up to the back of George Roke. This could be a battle for P6. Moichin himself is going to be coming in a few laps as well. But Laura Chung might close up on them as well if she can get past the Renault of Evan Byrne. So far Renault have had a difficult start to the season, let's say, as we're looking at Chung trying to make the move coming into the chicane. She's obviously not close enough, but will she make the move coming off the chicane? No, she's not. She's dropped too far back, so she'll have to wait until, of course, turn 1 to make the move. As that, so it's turn 1 and the chicane. Well, I suppose turn 1 and of course that corner after the chicane. But here is Felix Sontag, who may have overtaken Volker, and this might be a big embarrassment for Volker. And you can see Sontag just going alongside the Mercedes, and going to go past easy coming into the chicane. Oh dear, Williams passing a Mercedes. When have you ever seen that before in the last 10 years? But anyway, we're looking at Franco Gamba, who's on the back of the Pole de Rosa. And let's see him try and go through on the inside. And De Rosa's not really putting up much of a fight. This should be very easy. And it is. And Gamba's through up into 4th position. Now Roke, who's still in front of Moichin, but he doesn't have to worry about the forcing because he's pitting. Now here's Chung on the inside of Byrne, and she's done it. So no harm done. Now this is, that was Sontag on the inside of Mackenzie there. That was for 11th position. And of course Volker's still behind, so he's been stuck behind Mackenzie for an eternity. really, but of course he's on the one-stop Volker, so unfortunately it's not really working out too well for him. It would have been better had he, of course, not had that collision with Tomaselli, but obviously things happen, so there we are. So Chung at the moment running a very good race, running in P8 at the moment in time, and she's going to be closing up to the back of Moichin, who himself is on the back of Roke, but of course Moichin is going to be pitting this lap. So here we are looking at Lopez comfortably ahead of Carr in second, Willows in third, in fourth place is Gamba. So here is Moichin in seventh. They're trying to close up to the back of Roke, but this will be a battle in the pits, so Roko, who I think is going a few laps longer, and oh, there's a car with a problem, and Gabriel Gomez has got an issue, and he is going to retire from this race. And Gabriel Gomez is out of the French Grand Prix as his teammate Tomaselli goes by him. It is a mechanical failure for the Brazilian, and that is very unfortunate for him, as his car slowly still going along the side of the circuit, not quite broken down yet. But that is his race over. It's a shame because both Saubers have been having a fairly good race. Tomaselli, well, I say having a good race. I mean, Tomaselli was having a good race until the collision with Volker, but Gomez himself was also having an okay race. And his car is actually slowly creeping onto the racing line there, but now he turns a little bit to the left. But I think his car's finally stopped now, has it? I think so. Yet blue flag is out as the Ferrari goes by. Hopefully a marshal will come and push the car away, and yep, said marshal is coming to push the car. So what was the problem for him? It was a puncture for Gabriel Gomez, aka Gomez. And we look at him coming through the chicane, so it was a sudden problem. He was actually closing up to the back of Volker in front of him, but then you can see just coming out the chicane, there it was, and so it was terminal, and Gomez having to pull off to the side of the circuit. So that is his race done and dusted on lap 21, not getting relatively close to the halfway point of this race. So he finally pulls off, and of course his car is slowly drifting out to the outside of the circuit. Now here is Gamma on the back of Willows. This is for P3. Gamma now making a move on the inside of the Ferrari, and he's going to make the move, stick I would imagine into the chicane. Will he? And yes, it was a bit of a late one there from Gamma, but he gets it done. So at the moment Frankie Gamma is legitimately on for P3, because of course Willows actually is not pitting for quite a while yet, so I think it looks like Willows might be on the one stop here. And speaking of stops, Amar Carr is in for his first stop. So the red car now comes in for his first stop of the race. This will obviously be a 2, but at the moment Lopez is looking pretty darn good up front. No, it doesn't look like Carr has got anything really, unless he's got a rocket ship to put onto the car. Then that's pretty much the only way he's really going to catch up with Lopez, because he is so far dominating. But as we look at Carr coming out of the pits, the question is actually, would he come out ahead of Frankie Gamba or not? Gamba's just coming around the final corner now, so it is a long pit exit. Could be close, but not sure. So, and Carr actually does come out ahead of Frankie Gamba, so I don't know how close it was, but it doesn't really matter because he is ahead, so that keeps his second place intact. Now here is Chung on the back of Roke. This is for P6. And Chung on the inside, and does finally make it through up into P6, and she's actually going to be pitting fairly soon as well. But she is carving her way through the order she's made. She must have made by far the most overtakes of the race, apart from maybe Tomaselli, of course, who's made a lot on the first 2 laps, and he's been making moves. But we're looking at Mackenzie right now in 10th position, and Volker right behind, as we've got a car off, and it's Roland Moichin who's spun at turn 1. And I would imagine that was content, and he was trying to get past the manner of Titkov, who unfortunately was being, and unfortunately Moichin spins around and loses a lot of time. And speaking of time, Volker is going to be losing a position to Tomaselli. It's the battle between these two once again, but it should be a move done a lot quicker and easier into the chicane. Tomaselli's on the inside. Is that done? Yes, he's up into 11th position now. Tomaselli's right behind Mackenzie. I think Volker, I'm pretty sure, has been stuck behind Mackenzie for quite a few laps now. But now, finally, Tomaselli is going to make a move into the chicane. He's right behind the Renault, and he's going to make the move on the inside of the pole. And this should be very easily done into the chicane, and yes, it is. Up into 10th position. Now back into the points is Tomaselli. He's making a good recovery, and as I said, he's probably made the most overtakes apart from Chung, although Chung has probably made the best overtakes on the circuit. As we're looking through the order, De Rossa's still running in 5th. I don't believe actually De Rossa, I don't think he's made a stop yet, I believe. As we look at Volko, who's now right behind Mackenzie, still cannot make a move on the back of the Renault. It's a struggle for him at this moment in time. As we look, as there's actually De Rosa, speaking of the devil, who now comes into his first stop of the race. I don't imagine this will be a 1 stop. I would imagine this will be a 2. We'll see. So he comes in, and let's see, will this be a 2 stop? And yep, I thought it would be. And he's going to be on quite light fuel for this stint, so he can really put the pedal to the metal. So obviously going through the long pit exit, actually, will he come ahead of this battle between the Manor and the Force India? I don't think he will, actually. This could be close. And actually, oh no, he does come out ahead of them, which is important for De Rosa because he needed to. Otherwise, he would have to work his way through traffic. But of course, he can, as I said, put his pedal to the metal. But of course, he's going to have to get through a little bit of traffic. Felix Sontag actually is coming in for a pit stop as well. He's definitely lost quite a bit of ground. He's stuck behind the Renault of Evan Byrne. He comes in for his second stop. I don't think it's quite worked out the second stint as well as it had the first. Otherwise, I think Sontag probably would have been maybe a little bit closer to Chung. But Chung, I suppose, is just on another level today, I have to say. So, but at the moment, look at the gap actually between the 42 seconds. The gap between Carr and Lopez. That is quite incredible, really. And Frank Gamba, who himself is actually still not that far off of Carr. He's only about, well, he's less than 10 seconds, which I think is pretty impressive, to be honest. But as we look at Laura Chung, who's going to be coming into the pits on this lap. So let's see where she will come out onto the circuit. But so far she's had a very solid race, had to do a lot of overtaking. The pace in that car has been very, very good. So now into the pits comes the Chinese driver. Now let's see, where will she come out on the circuit? Obviously she won't be going to the end, I wouldn't think. But let's see anyhow. Into the pits she comes, and nope, of course she will be in the 3, which makes sense. So out of the pit she comes, and there we go. Sontag is also in, of course, on this lap as well. But where is Chung going to come out onto the circuit? She's down to 10th. Now here's Volker finally. Is he going to make the move on Mackenzie? The answer is no, he still can't do it. Still stuck behind the pole Mackenzie. He's been stuck behind him for quite a few laps now. Now here's the battle between the two Manors. This is Jones and Titkoff. They're battling. This is for 13th position. And Jones, I think, has got through. So here we are, Volker still stuck behind Mackenzie. We're looking through the rest of the order. Sontag came out in 60th place behind his teammate, Campana. Now here we are looking at this battle once again between Volker and Mackenzie, the never-ending battle of who can make themselves less worse than they already have been this race. I suppose Mackenzie's not done anything wrong, but just hasn't had the pace in the Renault, I suppose. And Volker, unfortunately, has been involved in incidents, really, with, I suppose the Thomas Eddy thing wasn't necessarily his fault, but just unfortunate, really. But considering, of course, Volker won the last time out in Canada, he would have hoped for a better result from the break that we had. So we look through the rest of the order. De Rosa, of course, is going to be closing up to this battle between Mackenzie and Volker as well. Moitin's not too far behind, and Chung won't be either. So there could be a massive battle for the lower end of the points. And this is obviously before Volker has even pitted yet. He's still not pitted in this race. So as we look at the moment at Frank Gamba right now having a fantastic race. P3 for Haas. His teammate Roke, who I don't believe has pitted yet. I don't think he has, but at the moment Gamba having a very comfortable race. This has definitely been so far his best season in the OC. He's had a lot of bad luck, but has done just enough to stay in, and finally Volker has passed Mackenzie into turn 1 at long last. And so that is P8 for the German, and as I said, he's just happy that he's finally got past. It's been way too long, and I was honestly fearing there was going to be another incident. Look how close that was, but Mackenzie's struggling on those tyres. Finally Volker makes it through up into 8th position. Now here's De Rosa, who's going to be overtaking Mackenzie. This is for 9th position, and I wonder if De Rosa will go after Volker in front as well. De Rosa on the inside and makes it up into 9th position. So there we go. Good move there by the Polish driver. The two poles coming, fortunately not coming together. And so we're looking at Lopez right now, who's actually pitting this lap. I don't think he's going to be going to the end. Well, I think he can afford to, really, because he's just so far in front. He's a pit stop in front, so if he goes to the end now, Carr would never be able to catch up to him. So, as we're looking at Roke, who's running a P5, who's not actually pitted yet. Neither has Byrne, Tomaselli in 7th at the moment. He's going to be trying to close up to these guys. De Rossa now already onto the back of Volker, and I would imagine he's going to make a move coming into turn 1, or he's certainly going to have a go at least. And he's right behind Volker. He's going to be in the slipstream for sure. Coming towards the first corner. Is he? Yeah, just about. So here we go. Now here, he's going to try and make a move into the first corner, is he? Or no, he's in the slipstream, but Volker moves to the left, so no. De Rossa can't make it through there. So as we look through, and now, oh, he might make a move here though, because Volker didn't get a good exit off the corner, but the answer is no, he can't. Still unable to make the move, and as we see, Lopez is in the pits. So is actually Mackenzie, so is the Manor of Titkov, but Lopez is coming into the pits. Well, he's now coming out of the pits, I should say. He's already made his stop. He's going to be behind Mackenzie, so he'll lap Mackenzie, but of course Lopez will come out still in P1 and a very comfortable lead. So here is De Rossa once again going to try it on Volker. Coming into the chicane, he's going to try and make, he's on the wrong side, he's going to try and swap to the left, is he? Yep, he's going to swap to the left. Is this the move done? And the answer is no, he still can't make it stick. And actually Chung has now made it through past Moitin, and now she's on the back of De Rossa and Volker. And so I wondered, could De Rossa get done here, like Chung did to his fellow compatriot Mackenzie? And I think she might do it as well. On the inside, not quite this time. Very close, but no cigar. So she fails to make it through up into 9th, but well, I think Volker is going to be pitting pretty soon anyway. Pitting in a couple of laps actually, and Tomaselli is going to be in as well on this lap. But Lopez, of course, still out in the lead, a very comfortable lead at that. So here's De Rossa once again on the back of Volker. Will he try and make a move into turn 1? Will he actually try and make it stick this time? So Tomaselli is in. That pit entry just looks so unusual, really. But here we go. De Rossa in the slipstream. I still don't think he's just quite close enough, as Volker once again moves to the left to stop De Rossa from getting through, so he can't make it stick here. So he's going to have to wait until the chicane to actually make it stick. As I said, will De Rossa try and make it through here? He's not quite alongside. Would he go for it? No. So he's going to have to wait until the chicane on the back straight. But of course they've got to be careful, because Chung is right behind on much fresher tyres. But Chung will want to dispose of these two drivers immediately, really, because she's, well, on a different strategy than these two. So here's De Rossa once again in the slipstream, and surely he's going to make it into the chicane, trying to go alongside the Mercedes, side by side between the two, coming into the first chicane. The chicane at the end of the back straight, and still De Rossa can't make it stick. And now this is the chance for Chung, if she gets a good run off the corner, to make the move. She's in the slipstream. This is her chance right now, and here we go. She's in the slipstream. Is she going to try and make a move on the inside of De Rossa? De Rossa moves to the left, so can't do it. So Chung is going to have to wait once again. She goes a little bit wide there, so she loses a bit of momentum, but that gives Volker a bit of breathing space in front of them. So great battle here for the lower ends of the points, but I bet this is not what Volker, or who you imagine he'd be battling at the start of the day. But Byrne is coming into the pits at the end of this lap, as he comes around the final corner and now makes his way, goes to the right and makes his way into the pits. So here we go. And now here we go. Here's this battle for P7 once again. De Rossa on the back of Volker. Will he do it this time? I just don't think he's still quite close enough, although I think he's a little bit closer than before. He's going to try and make a move on the inside. Surely it's De Rossa. He goes for it. Oh, there's contact, and De Rossa's around, and he fails yet again. And so De Rossa is around. Chung is through. Volker once again keeps the position, and that is going to cost De Rossa. Oh, and well, yep, there we go. He loses his wing over the curb, so De Rossa is going to have to pit for a new nose cone. And it was just, he tried over and over again to get past Volker. It was never on that move, really, on the inside of Volker, and unfortunately he has paid the price dearly there. And obviously going over the curb as well when he loses his front wing. So Byrne comes out of the pits in, it looks like, 14th position. Of course, he's got the blue flag. He'll have to give way to Lopez behind, although he's on fresher tyres, so interesting to see what happens there. But at the moment, Etienne Jones right now running in 9th position, actually. For Manor, we haven't seen much of him this race, as Roke is going to be coming in for his first, and I believe his only stop of the race, running on his own, really. He's avoided trouble. I mean, he's had a pretty good race, but it's just unfortunate that his teammate, Gamba, is running on the podium right now. Otherwise he'd be having a super race. He's not that far, actually, off of Willows in P4 before he comes in. So you can see it'll probably come out behind that big gaggle of Volker, Chung, Moitin and Jones. If he comes ahead of De Rossa, I think he'll be pretty happy with that. So here is Roke coming towards the pit entry right now. So in he comes, and let's see where he comes out onto the circuit. This will be crucial for him with regards to where he could finish, of course. He needs to avoid, of course, any cars, really, so he can preserve those tyres and get to the end. So he comes in, and surely he'll go to the end, which should be pretty obvious. And yep, there we go. Going to the end of this race. Changes all 4 tyres, and actually he is behind that big gaggle of cars. Volker actually is in this lap as well, so he doesn't need to worry about him. But Volker making his first and only stop of the race. And unfortunately for him, it's been a pretty dire race for him ever since the thing with Thomas said he'd been stuck behind Mackenzie. Had De Rossa all over his chuff, but De Rossa not being able to make the move. But Roke comes out in 10th position, so he comes out in the points. He comes out behind the 2 Williams of Campana and Sontag, so he's certainly going to be in the points, Roke, but the question is, where's it going to be at the end? So we look at Mackenzie. Who is he going to come out ahead of the Mercedes, side by side? And yes, he does manage to get ahead of Volker, and wow, Volker is going to be so cheesed off that it's ended up this way. But I imagine it'll probably overtake him pretty quickly. But he's been stuck behind him he was stuck behind him in the first half of the race for quite a while, and now Volker's going to have to do it all over again and try and get through without wrecking him, I suppose, because he'll be in a pretty, as I said, he'll be pretty annoyed, that's for sure. So as we look at Volker, he's in the slipstream of Mackenzie coming on to the back straight. He's, I think, going to make the move straight away coming into the chicane. And yes, he does, so he's up to 30, so you needn't worry about that now, but that's one thing done. So Willows is just pitting as well for Ferrari, I believe, for his first and only stop of the race as well. Roke's on that battle with the 2 Williams. So here we go. He comes out of the pits, and actually, I think he might come out behind Laura Chung, but it won't matter, because Chung has to pit anyway. But just imagine if she didn't, though. He would generally have to actually pass him on circuit. Jones at the moment, right now running in P6 at this moment in time. We've not seen him at all this race, but so far he is having a stonker of a race, and he certainly is within a shout of points. I know he has to pit before the end, but he's still doing pretty well nonetheless. Here the 2 Williams battling into the first corner. Oh, it's close, it's very close, side by side between the 2. They avoid contact, but Roke is there, and I think he might get past Sontag. It's side by side between the 2. Roke surely through on the inside, is he? Yes, and he finally makes it up into P9, gets past Sontag, who loses out there, and Roke will surely pass Campana, I would imagine, coming onto the back straight. But here we go again from Roke's point of view. You can see these guys battling up ahead. It was very close, side by side. Oh, how they didn't make contact there. That was close, but Roke managed to make it through, just squeezing through on the inside. While Sontag taking advantage, as Sontag had gone wide there, failing to get past Campana. And there we go. Roke through up into 9th, and he's going to be immediately up into 8th. He's going to be alongside the American Campana, and he is going to make the move very easily. Side by side between the 2, and there we go. He's up into 8th position, so very nicely done. So now Sontag will have another chance to get past Campana if he can get close enough, which I'm not sure. I mean, they're both obviously pitting before the end, but of course Roke needs to get through there, of course, as the 2 Williams once again going side by side there. Not quite going to work, but fortunately no damage done, but of course they're going to have to give way to the car behind them. That car behind them being Lopez, of course, as they're still battling once again. And here's Lopez, who's now going to lap one of the Williams drivers. He laps Sontag, and now he's going to lap Campana, I would imagine, on the front straight. And as we look at him going through, and there we go. And Lopez is going to overtake him, but now Campana's got the chance, actually. Sontag's got the chance to get past Campana as he was held up there. He's going to go around the outside, is he? It's side by side between the 2. And I think Sontag, has he got the run into the first corner? Yes, he has, and he does make it through past Campana, who has been done, unfortunately, by Lopez lapping him. So that was a good move there by Sontag. I had a feeling he'd probably wait for that. Volker, in the meanwhile, is just watching this happen in front of him. Tomaselli is trying to get past these guys as well. And I don't think, is he going to the... no, he's pitting, actually, I think, before the end. But he's going to try and overtake these guys. It's going to be an interesting, actually, battle for points. But at the moment, look at that. Etienne Jones, right now, up into 5th position. And, oh, Moichin's out. That's why. Because Moreno Moichin is out of this race. Oh, dear me. And he goes straight into the wall there. I thought he was heading on to the other part of the circuit there, trying to take a shortcut. But Moreno Moichin is out, and he has a problem. And what has happened to the Hungarian? He's having a fairly decent race. It was another puncture. He was running in P5. He's going to be pitting soon. So he was going to be within a shout of points, and unfortunately he is going to be getting precisely nothing today. You can see him pulling off to the side of the circuit, and as I said, I thought for a second that he was trying to cut off to the well, and take a shortcut there, but as his race over. Now here's Tomaselli on the back of Lincoln Parner. This is the battle for P9, and Tomaselli can't make it through here. He'll have to wait until the straight. Now here is Willows, who is overtaking Etienne Jones for 5th position, and he does make it through on the inside into the first corner, so he has made it through. Chung right now running in 4th. Jones actually is pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. I think Lopez is coming up to lap broke, I think, ahead of him. So Tomaselli now finally passing Campana into turn 1 for 9th position. So there we go, that is that move finalised. So Tomaselli obviously having Jones down to 6th, but of course he'll be pitting this lap. Now this is the battle, this is between, I believe this is Byrne, I think, who's behind Campana, as they're heading towards the first corner. And will a move be made by the Renault? And Byrne is going to make a move on the inside of Campana, is he? Nope. Campana blocks him, so no move done there. But of course they've got to be careful because Volker is right behind as well. But Byrne gets a much better run off the corner than Campana does, and he's going to make it through the Irishman, passing the American, and he makes it stick. But now Volker is right there as well. He's going to go past Campana, and imagine on the back straight. Well, that is when he can next make the move, but he just got a much better run there, Byrne off the corner, and just said thank you very much and took the position of the American, so he's through. So there we go, up into 9th position, and now Volker is going to make the move. You can see, here we go, about to make the move on the inside, just about squeezing alongside, and no, he has to back off, of course, because of the yellow flag, so he just thinks very smartly there, does Volker, so he can't make it stick through there. He could try and do it after the straight, but Willows has made a mistake. Oh dear me, and there we go. Willows making a mistake there, running in P5, so that is not good for him. See him going a little bit wide there, and well, yes, goes a little bit wide onto the blue lines. Of course, if you go off there, then you've got pretty much no grip whatsoever. So, as I said, if you're not on the track, then you've got no grip at all, which I suppose makes sense, really, you would think. But anyway, here is Volker now trying to make a move on the inside of the Williams into the first corner. Oh, that's so close. But he finally does it. He moves up into the magic position of 10, which means you get points. But ideally, Volker would want to take that 0 off and be P1 instead. But unfortunately today, that's just not going to happen. As here's Chung in P4 at the moment, running ahead of Willows, but of course Chung will be pitting once more before the end. Here is Tomaselli passing the Williams of Sontag into the first corner, the chicane, I should say, but he fails to do it. But I would imagine he's going to do it on the pit straight, I would think. That is the next chance of overtaking. So as we see Tomaselli, who's trying to close up the back of Sontag after losing time off the chicane. So as we look at him coming through, look at the speed that he got through there. Look at how much he gained. He's now right behind Sontag, and I would imagine that he's going to make a move on the pit straight. That is the next chance of overtaking here on this circuit. I have to say, this race so far has been pretty good. It's been pretty entertaining. I mean, apart from up front, as we know who's winning there, apart from the top 2 / maybe 3, it's been pretty much exciting, really. So here is Tomaselli once again in the slipstream of the German, and the German in a foreign car, and there's a bit of contact there. Fortunately, no damage done. That could have ended badly, though. We've seen many incidents, of course, happening there, but fortunately, they got away with it, really. Oh, and here we go. Here's a big battle now because Tomaselli's been held up. Byrne is right there, and so is Volker, so they need to get past the Williams and Sontag quickly, or Byrne needs to get past. Is he going to try and make a move into the first corner? Tomaselli, and there's contact, and he does make it through. Sontag actually still has to pit, but finally Tomaselli makes it through past Sontag, taking him a while to do it, but he finally has done it. It's unfortunate for Sontag because he was doing so well at the start. Unfortunately, he's just fallen away, really. It just seems he's had no pace, and you can see he gets lifted up, but fortunately keeps all 4 wheels on the ground and no damage done. But now Byrne is right there behind him as well, but of course Volker is there too. As we look at Byrne right behind the Williams, he's going to make a move, of course, coming on to the back straight and into the chicane. Of course, that I suppose I say that's the first chicane. Of course, there the corners they just went by there, that counts as a chicane, I guess. But anyway, here is Byrne in the slipstream of the Williams on the back straight, coming towards the major chicane on this circuit, and he's on the inside. He's going to make it through, and no, he doesn't actually. Won't do him good, because otherwise he won't have a chance to close up to Tomaselli in front. Of course, Volker is not wanting to be in this at all. Oh, well, he actually might get past Byrne, who's got a much better run off the corner than Byrne. He's alongside the Renault, and this might be the move for ninth place done here. And Volker, will he take advantage? And the answer is yes, he will. A good move there by Volker, taking advantage of that Mercedes power, and moves up into 9th position, which will be 8th once the Williams of Sontag pits, which will be, of course, in about 20 seconds' time, and in about 2 corners. So, as we look at Volker, who's obviously right behind the Williams, but of course he needn't worry about him, because he's going to be pitting this lap, although Byrne actually might try and make a move back if he's not careful. And no, Volker's going to try. Oh, I was going to say that was close. I was going to say don't go right behind him there, Volker, because otherwise you could run into him, unfortunately. Well, no damage was done. It was close, but no damage was done. So Sontag comes in. That will allow Lee Campana to go up into 10th, although there's a big gaggle of cars right behind him at this moment in time. He's got Mackenzie and he's got Jones behind him in this battle for 10th. And I don't think Campana has to pit, I don't believe. Carr is into the pits for his final stop of the race, so he's going to take a very lonely second. He's led briefly in this race, but that is about it, because Lopez has absolutely destroyed the entire field, decimated just every word, every D word you can think of, he's done it. He has just obliterated everyone. Now here is Franco Gamma actually coming in for his final stop of the race, so it looks like it's going to be a very comfortable third for him. And actually, if things stand, I think if both Francos get on the podium, I believe this would be the first time in OC history that the two Francos would be on the podium together. So we'll see if that still happens. There's still 11 laps to go this race, so you never know. So Gamma comes out, and I think Chung is in the pit as well this lap, and yes, she is. So Chung Renner was running in P4. She'll drop down to P5, and actually I wonder, I think maybe even P6 actually. So you dropped down already to P5. I wonder actually if she'll drop down behind Rowe, because now here is Lopez, who's trying to lap, I believe. Oh, this is Franco Gamma actually, who's just come out of the pit, so Lopez trying to lap him. That's how dominant it has been. Blimey. So he's already, so nearly the whole field, apart from the top 3, have been lapped in this race. That is quite something. So Chung now comes out of the pit in looks like P7, just ahead of Volker, is it? Oh, yes. That was close. And so Chung does come out in P7, and now she'll take, I think, P6. But, of course, she has dropped behind Roke, which is interesting, of course, because Roke is not pitting. Now, Jones has moved up into 10th, so this has been, so far, yet again, another good performance by Jones. So he's now up into the points, and this could be a good result for him and Manor. So Campana, unfortunately, just hasn't got the pace in this race. Mackenzie just had a very dreary race, to be honest. So as we look at De Rossa right now running in P15, I mean, it could have been a better race for him too, but Lopez, who's going to be pitting this lap, look at the gap, nearly a minute ahead, but of course that will be reduced to a lot less than that once he pits, but he can chill for the last 10 laps of this race. He can really just go at it, because he knows that there's no chance of anyone taking the crown off him, actually, and Gamba did stay ahead, of course. There's no need for Lopez to lap him, but of course he could be pitting this lap. Willers is just behind, so he's just lapped him, but he would, of course, unlap himself as Lopez now comes into the pits. And in he comes. And of course, I wonder how much fuel they'll put into his car. Enough for the end? Yeah, of course. So there we go. He is in. And so he changes all 4 tyres and is out into the lead. So here is the battle for P6. This is Tomaselli and Chung, although that battle is going to end because Tomaselli is pitting. So here we are looking at the rest of the field. Sontag just really gutting him. Had such a good start and just fell away really badly at the end. You got to feel for him, really. But at the moment, as you can see, Chung going up into P6, and now he'll go after Roke. I mean, the gap is 11 seconds. Can she do it? I think it's probably possible, because she's on much fresher tyres than Roke's been on his tyres for quite a while. So I would say that is definitely possible. I think 11 seconds in the last laps on much fresher tyres. Yeah, I think so. I really do think so. I think Tomaselli came in out of the pits outside of the points actually, so that means I think Jones is up into 9th now, so which I was not expecting actually. And speaking of Jones, oh no, Jones, no, 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 no. Oh no, I was just speaking about him as well, and he's got a problem, and he is out of this race. Oh, I feel so bad for him. He was running in a legitimate 9th position, and unfortunately for him, he's going to be getting nothing. And I think there's something wrong with that tyre as he goes across. Well, I don't know where he's going. He's going across the track and actually into the wall, and that is his race over with just 7 laps to go. Very, very unfortunate there for the Brit. He was going to get some good points, and unfortunately he's now going to be getting nothing. Very unfortunate for him. So what was the problem that caused him to retire? The answer was... oh, it was another puncture, blimey. Tyres really being used to the extreme effect. You can see Jones was just coming across the finish line. Well, that's not the finish line. Well, he was coming across that finish line, and then the problem was there. Now, unfortunately for Jones, he was running ahead of Mackenzie, so Mackenzie now takes 9th. So he'll move up into 9th position. I don't know who moves up into 10th. I'm not sure. I think if we might see the order, then we could check to see who moves up into 10th. So Jones, obviously, unfortunately, out. Really, really feel bad for the guy. So it's actually Tomaselli now who moves up into 10th, but he'll get past Mackenzie pretty quickly, I think, on those fresher tyres. I'd imagine as we look at Franco Lopez, the very comfortable race leader. There's no one that can take his crown from this race, as Sontag is actually into the pits again. I didn't realise Sontag had another pit stop to go. Blimey. Oh dear. So Sontag, it just looks so promising for Sontag. He made such a good start. It's just unfortunately the pace of that car really letting him down. So Gamma, you can see, in a very comfortable 3rd position. And it looks like he is going to take just a great podium really, and the first Franco podium, double Franco podium in OC history. Now here is Tomaselli, who is going past Mackenzie. This is the battle for 9th position, and he just really put up a fight, Mackenzie, as Tomaselli actually makes it through even before the chicane, so he's up into 9th. So I wonder actually if he'll go, if he'll attack the other Renault of Evan Byrne in front of him. We'll have to see about that. But as I said, unfortunately for Mackenzie, just had a very average race. I mean, Byrne has done an okay job actually, to be honest, and he's been on the 1 stop. I don't know if Mackenzie was on the 1 stop. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, now here is the battle. This is actually for P5. This is Roke trying to defend from Chong. And I don't really think he can, because Chong is on much fresher tyres. She's on the inside, and she is through and up into P5. It's been a fantastic race by Laura Chong. She definitely deserved the top 5 in this race. Roke himself, actually, a great race as well on the 1 stop, let's not forget. P6 is definitely the best that he was going to get, so fair play. Now here is Carr, who is lapping Mackenzie. Oh, and wow, Carr going into the back of Mackenzie there. I don't know how he didn't get damage. He was very lucky there. He goes past Mackenzie, and so wow, that could have been an interesting end to the race. But I think probably Carr would have still been ahead of Gamba anyway, to be honest. But who knows? But I mean, I don't know how he didn't get damage there. He's very lucky. Unfortunately, he didn't. And here is De Rossi actually, who's in 11th here, as he's watching this happen. I think would he try and sneak past Mackenzie? Yes, he does. And De Rossi sneaks past Jay Mackenzie and is set to take 10th position, and he's going to take the last point off of Mackenzie. So good recovery there by the Polish driver De Rossi there. I don't think he ever expected to get 10th after the pit stop after the spin and losing his wing, but fair play. And Mackenzie is somehow going to lose a point from this race. Now this is a battle for 13th. This is the Williams of, I think, Sontag trying to get past Titkoff, and he does. So unfortunately, he was battling Toro Rosso's earlier on, and now he's battling Manners Sontag. So how the tables have turned in this, in the second half of this race. Now here we are, on to the final lap of the French Grand Prix. It's been definitely a thrilling Grand Prix. I'm definitely delighted actually that this track is here. Well, I suppose in real life it's absolute turd, but for racing. But here it's always entertaining. I mean, every circuit is entertaining really in the OC. But anyway, Lopez, I mean, what can you say really? Just total, utter dominance, decimation, domination. Just everything. There's no other way of putting it really. After he took the lead from Carr on the second lap, never really looked back. Just the pace of that car, absolutely immense. Look at the gap now, 45 seconds after his final stop as well. Just no one. It was always going to be him really, and this is going to put him right back into title contention. Well, I knew he was anyway. Tomaselli, as you can see, actually has just passed Byrne for 9th position. For 8th position, I should say. So Byrne is down to 9th, and Tomaselli has moved up into 8th. As we look here on board with Lopez, as I was just looking obviously down at what happened with Tomaselli overtaking Byrne. And coming in towards the final corner. Oh, actually, Lopez making a little mistake there, actually, but need to worry, of course, because he's about to come across the line and win the first French Grand Prix for 10 seasons. As he comes around the final corner of Franco Lopez, it has been total domination as he comes down the front straight for the 53rd and final time. Franco Lopez is the winner of the French Grand Prix. What a performance. Well done, well done. So he wins. So Willows will take 4th position. I think he'll be he'll be relatively satisfied with that. That was the best he was really going to get on his strategy. So he'll take P4. Chung will come across the line P5. She'll be very, very happy with that one. Roke P6 on the one stop. The best of the the best of the one stoppers in the mid pack, that is. Florian Volker does recover to 7th, which I guess is better than nothing. But obviously, unfortunately, just didn't go his way really. This race, Tomaselli in 8th position. He managed to pass Byrne on the last lap as well, so good recovery from him, but he finishes behind Volker after the collision with him. 8th across the line for him. Byrne will take 9th. He'll take 2 points for Renault. Armacart comes across the line. He'll take 2nd position. He'll be pretty happy with that, but of course he probably would have wished he could have won. De Rossa will take the last points position in 10th. Good results. I say good result for him. Good recovery from him. Mackenzie, a pretty dreary race, 11th. Lean Campana, 12th. Vidic Sontag will come across the line, I think, 13th. I mean, how Sontag has finished behind Campana is ridiculous, really, just considering how far ahead of him he was at the start of the race. But well, what can you say, really? But anyway, that is 13th. Titkoff, 14th, and behind him, Franco Gamba. What a performance! P3, and it's the first ever double Franco podium in the OC. And there we go. Another record to be broken. So here are the full race results. Only the top 3 not being lapped, with Franco Lopez beating Armakov in 2nd, and Franco Gamba completing the podium in 3rd. Willers 4th, Chung 5th, Roke 6th, Volker 7th, Tomaselli 8th, Byrne 9th, and they also complete the points in 10th position. David Mackenzie finishing just outside the points in 11th. Fastest lap being set by Lopez on 129.617. Of course, the rest of the order being Campana 12th, Sontag 13th, and Titkoff in 14th, with the following drivers not finishing this race: Jones, Moitian, Gomez, now Turner, Roberto Gamba, Parachki, Gal, and Hutter. As I said, both Red Bulls take each other out at the start of this race, and who knows, it could have been so much different had they not done that. But I have to say, it was, again, a pretty good race. So here are the driver standings. So Carr still leading ahead of Lopez, but they're on the same points, with Volker a further 30 points behind. Willers in 4th position, Joel Hutter and Gal falling further away from the top 4. Franco Gamba already almost passing Gal for 6th place in the championship. Look at that. Roke moving up to 8th ahead of Moitian. De Rossa in 10th. Chung moving all the way up to 11th. Then now turning, we've got Tomaselli, Mackenzie, Byrne moving up to 15th ahead of Sontag. Then Roberto Gamba, Gomez, Parachki, and Jones. And the 2 drivers yet to score any points this season, Maxime Titkoff and Lean Campana for Mana and Williams respectively. Now we'll take a look at the constructor standings after the French GP. So Mercedes is still leading, but it's only a 7-point gap to Ferrari in 2nd, Red Bull over 100 points behind in 3rd, Haas comfortably in 4th position at this moment in time. Force India 5th, McLaren in 6th, Sauer actually moving above Renault on the same points into 7th, Toro Rosso 9th, Williams in 10th, and Mana in 11th with just 1 point. So there we are. That is the French Grand Prix over, and it was definitely a great return to France. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day, give the racing rating out of 10. Don't forget to check all our links in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you for the next round, the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.